At this time, I would like to ask the members of the 1970 state championship football team to come up. Jim Chapin, Vern Eldridge, Carl Chase, Tom Blake, Jim Blake, Dave Overcamp, Dave Simon, Ron Curry, and Mike Cutler. And the coaches, Bill Maskell, Jim Sullivan, who's represented by Mary, and Jim Van Zandt.
They're friends for life. I see these guys all the time. They're just some of my strongest friends. And the coaches, the same way. With all those coaches, they come over to my house. We visit. The same thing, so we're on the same page. And I'm also glad I was part of the other inductees because they were also part of my program when I was in there. Not my program, but I was involved in it. So I was really thankful that I was involved all the way through. These kids were something else. They had ability. They were just playing good. And there were so many times that you knew you were going in the ball game and it wasn't going to be a close ball game. You were just going to say, how many points are we going to get? The bad part about it is we had a lot of these kids that have been starters. You can only have, some of them can start, some of them got to sit on the bench. And that's the tough part about it. If these kids that were not starters went to any other school in the league, they would have been starters at that school. They just happened to come at the time when there was a bunch of skilled players and so forth. So I'm really proud to be part of that group. I do want to ask Jerry Nora to step up there a little bit, because he was one of the guys that very popular with the kids, and he knew a little bit about everything, and he told me some stories the other day that I didn't know what was going on with the team, and I thought maybe if he came up here and kind of shared some of that stuff with you, you people would like to hear that. Jerry, take it up.
Trying to get rid of the flu, so I sound like a mafia guy. But some of the things that I remember when we first went to practice, Coach Jimmy Blake was captain, and he was telling me last night he was late for practice, for the very first practice, and that's not a good thing. Coach McGinnis had a one lapse after practice, just like Coach Bourne back there. They picked on everybody, I guess. But I remember in the first game against Comstock, the coaches said, "We don't think we can win this game if we can't tackle Marty Johnson." Marty was all-state running back at Comstock. And if we don't tackle him 4 or 5 at a time, this is coach, we're not going to win this game. So we got some brand new tackling dummies. We had those old canvas ones, I couldn't even pick them up. And now we got these brand new yellow tackling dummies. I don't know if the guys remember those, but all the coaches were standing like this is the dummy. They were holding them up. And coach says, "You know who Marty Johnson is? Do you know him? Well, you're going to know after this practice." And they turned the dummies around. They had taped number 34 on all the dummies. That was Marty Johnson's number, so that we could tackle Marty Johnson. And the headlines read, "GA stops Marty, all-state running back Marty Johnson, and he only ran for 34 yards. So that was pretty good. Good story. Coach McGinnis had a special team the year that we were seniors, and he coordinated pop in the locker room. And believe it or not, we were about that time where we used to open the bottles like this. Well, now they have these real newfangled thing called a twist off bottle. Gary Tomax, after practice, opened one of those bottles, and it went.
McGinnis comes flying out of the office, makes him, well, about an hour later, Gary was one of the dummies, like, not tourists. But I just remember that, you know, Friday nights, the whole town would go to the games. It was truly like those TV shows, Friday Night Lights. That was what Galesburg was all about. So if you wanted to rock the town, you could come to Galesburg on Friday night and everybody was at the game. But another movie that was just reduced from Hollywood was called Remember the Titans. And it was set in 1971, the same year as our team, had the same colors, had the same music, had good music, because they're still playing it today. But I'd just like to close and say, remember the Rams. Thank you.
Well, some of these guys came a long way, and Carl Chase might have a couple words to say, because he kind of took a little bit over, and he kind of got that team together. He might have a story or two.
I've done in my life, and from the managers to the coaches, I want to really thank Coach Cox and Coach Sullivan, who aren't with us anymore. They took game films before. I want to thank Mr. Ward, the principal, we didn't have to go to class for the 3 months we played football. We just get out, watch game films. And we used to go bowling on Friday afternoon just to keep loose. Nobody knows these things. And the huddles, it was a team effort. Jim Blake and Rick Lindsay were tremendous pulling guards, and they used to call plays. We set up. They had a weak player over here. We run 3 plays to the weak player, and when the linebacker covered for him, then we run it right where the linebacker was. And then we'd smile at him when we came up to the line. They had a really good running back. They'd come up to the line when we were on defense, and we'd go, run this guy's play, run this guy's play. I mean, we were just really well coached. I want to thank George McGinnis. You know, we had an incredible line. Coach told a story. He showed us, went to Western and took Todd Blake's some of his footage and tried to get Western to pick up the running back, and one of the coaches said, you know what, I don't know if he's a very good running back. My grandmother could have run through the holes that that line was making. You know, we'd play games on Friday night, and on Monday night we would play like Penfield, Class A schools. We'd have a scrimmage, and that was the real war. That got us in shape. So we didn't have 9 games, we had about 18 games, because those games on Monday were a lot harder than the games with some of the schools. We played a Class A school, we beat them 40-0. The only other time that they lost that entire year, they lost to the eventual Class A state champion, 17-13. That's an incredible thing when you're playing the big guys from Detroit. So George really had us prepared. Coach Van Zandt, I started playing tennis with him when I was in 5th grade, and so he was a great role model. And these guys I've had coaches with my kids, and a lot of different coaches. We had a really great bunch of coaches in the community. When we played Springfield, it was 60 all the way around the field. My greatest moment was they threw a pass to Bauer, their all-state end, and we had just scored, and they were ranked 3rd, and we were ranked 2nd at that time or something. He caught it on their side, ran all the way down the field, right in front of their bench, and their stands, 6 deep around the field, and they're screaming and yelling. Well, I took the angle, coach, take the angle, they're never going to score us. And I knocked them out of bounds on their sideline at the 2-yard line, and their fans went, ooh, and our fans roared. I mean, it was like incredible. So the whole atmosphere of the town and everything was really behind us. It was a real community effort. It lasts our entire life. You know, every time you get in the scrape, you realize, do I have a fighting chance? Can I do this? And you think back to the time, well, you know what, if I do my practice hard and keep focused, I can pull it off. And so it lasts an entire lifetime, and we're so lucky to have these wonderful guys who worked with us forever. And thank you very much for all my teammates. It was really a wonderful experience. Thank you all very much.
You know, we had all kinds of Blake. I don't know, we must have 10 Blakes playing for the football team. Maybe Todd or Jimmy might want to say something. Come on up here, Jimmy, got a word.
And like Carl said, it was a team effort, and we all pulled together on Friday nights, and we went out and we did what our coaches taught us, and we were very successful at it. And it is a lifelong thing. There's not a fall that comes around when I don't get on the Gazette and look up and I see what Galesburg's got for a football team. And my boys played, and they played up and played well, and I couldn't believe that they could be ready to play football the way they were coached. They never would have done what we had to do to get ready to play football. So, and I was lucky enough to play with my brother Todd, and before us, my brother Bob played for Colts. He was on a state championship team, and so we were very fortunate as a family to all have been a part of this. And I thank all the coaches for that. Thank you.
That can be said about, our team and the coaches and all that. And I guess what Jim was saying, Friday nights around here were, really special. And I can remember, like Carl was saying, people were, 6 deep on the sidelines. They had a whole thick rope around the sidelines and all that, and everybody standing next to those. Walking over from the high school, from the old locker room across the street. And just the energy was always built. Everybody was building for that big moment, when the games were starting. And it's like Jim said, we were so well prepared that the fun time started on Friday night. It was like almost like a night off because you were gonna kick some butt, and we did. So thanks a lot.
And one of them I see quite frequently, and if I ever had a coach again, I think I'd like a guy like that on my staff, Tim Knightson.
Well, I didn't grow up in Galesburg, but it's become an integral part of my life. And in the years I spent in high school here, somebody else mentioned it, I think it might have been Roy, that you don't realize it until later, how things can come full cycle. But we were extremely lucky to be associated with people like Coach and Coach McGinnis and Jim Van Zandt that gave us the inspiration and the focus to accomplish things that maybe we didn't know we could. And I think that there's been a revival here with the new coach, and it's great to see the current athletes here to see what maybe they can do with the opportunities presented.
We were at Lloyd Norris. We were having a scrimmage. And we used to run a play called 36 counter. That was up my hole with Tom Guthrie, the fullback, coming right up my hole. And if I didn't block for him, he'd get green. So Coach McGinnis says, "Overkid, you want to see what it's like to run without a blocker?" He told the Lloyd Norris team to line up. Gives me football. I'm madder than a hornet, right? I just put my head down into it. I guess one of the guys faked the injury. Coach McGinnis says, "Do it again." Gives me the ball and I'm still mad. So I run in here again and another one of the guys faked the injury. He says, "Do it again." Lloyd Norris goes, "That's enough, that's enough." I don't know. I don't even know if that's the truth or not. But well, hey, I'll tell you what, I really want to thank Carl Chase is one hell of a leader on this team. He was the quarterback, and he was the leader, man. I'll tell you what, in the huddles, I was the center, everybody lined up on me, and Carl, man, he was always in control.
We know we're going to be in trouble if we didn't. So we didn't. Basically, you just did what you were told, and it worked out great. And not to mention the amount of talent we have on the team. I mean, like I say, it's a year of talking about good athletic people that were very talented in a strength type of way, not a Terrell Lawrence or somebody like that just trying to show off. I mean, they were just pure talent that gave us the ability to do what we did. So I'm just thankful to be here, for my family to be here, and everybody else, my team to be here, and thanks for the opportunity.
It has been one of the most memorial services I've ever had. here at Galesburg. And I couldn't find a better coach to coach with other than Bill Maskell and Ken Gullo. We were always on the same page. He would question me from time to time in terms of what I was doing, and how I was doing, and I explained it to him. He'd be satisfied, and we'd go from there. And my objective was to prepare these boys so they never would get injured. Because if they got injured, they wouldn't be good to themselves, and they wouldn't be any good to the team. So we were very fortunate that we never had a major injury in football practice or in the game. And I never worried about them in terms of Friday night because they had done their homework prior to that. And that was all I asked of them. They gave their utmost. So I'm grateful to have had such a fine group. And I'm very fortunate to have worked with such a fine group of coaches such as Masco and Ken Bulow. Thanks again.
Can you get up there and say something, Jim? How about that?